There's no way. Paimon VA interview has backfired terribly on her. It is so over.
Thank you for tuning in. Welcome back, guys. Today we take a look at the interview by Paperback Boy, interview with Karina Boetger, the VA of Paimon in the English dub of Genshin Impact, of course. Now, before we begin, I'd like to revisit something she said on Blue Sky, because, I made a video yesterday talking about this, which, by the way, thank you guys so much for all the support on that video. It was the 4th video of the day yesterday, and I was worried about notifications not going out for that one, because I don't think they go out for the 4th one. So yeah, you guys definitely helped that video get out there. I appreciate it. And
everyone's been talking about it. Literally, Tecton shut the hell up about it. Being like, oh my god, gamers won! We got what we wanted! Paimon not replaced by a fucking annoying VA!
Matter of fact, likes are always appreciated, guys. Just saying. And on that note, there is one more thing I would like to say about Karina's posts here on Blue Sky, and then we will get right to the interview. So on Blue Sky, Karina had said, contract being broken again and again from them, that being Hoyoverse, not paying me on time on a consistent basis, not being paid within 30 days as my contract states, waiting anywhere from 3 to 5 months on average for my paychecks. This is why contracts mean nothing if the game isn't union, because contracts are not enforceable without a union. That, of course, being a lie. They are.
What do you mean? What do you mean? That's illegal. If they're not paying you, you can sue them. That's kind of how the world works. If Google just suddenly, or Amazon just stopped paying me my fucking share, I'd be like, what the fuck? Hello? Pay me my work? What's going on?
Hoyo still refused to sign an AI protection contract, and even if they did, since my contract and several of my castmates' contracts are broken on a regular basis, this is why we need SAG. Because without SAG, these companies know that we do not have the money to fight them in court, as most of us, including myself, already live paycheck to paycheck. The thing is, didn't Karina also say she was FICOR, not an actual member of SAG? So what is going on here? There's so many inconsistencies with what Karina says. Also,
the
she says to not trust YouTubers and that we're all liars, we're all lying to you guys. Hello? It's like the actual quote almost. Paraphrase a little bit, but you guys know what I'm talking about, the infamous crash out video. But now
the crash out video that he's referencing is a TikTok where she started crying and saying that YouTubers don't know what they're talking about, and anyone who's not a VA is not allowed to make videos about the crash out. Isn't that fucking dumb?
He's on a YouTube channel doing the interview. And let me also just elaborate on the timing here. So after Karina was getting a ton of backlash for, let's just say around a month, then she went pretty much MIA on Blue Sky, not really posting anything on Blue Sky, this leading many people to speculate that she was on an alt account, perhaps the Pomeranian of Doom alt account. That was a popular theory. Still may be a popular theory, as a matter of fact. The point being,
an alt account on Blue Sky. On Blue Sky, I just don't get it. You can't control yourself. You have to start posting on an alt account on Blue Sky of all places.
It was MIA for quite a while, a number of weeks or so, more or less, and then suddenly returns with this interview. It kind of looks like she may have been terminated by Hoyoverse, and then was deciding how she wants to handle all this, and now she's doing this interview to try and make herself seem more legitimate with her claims of, oh, I stepped down when John got replaced. No,
you should have stepped down when you were actually still striking. That's what annoys me about this whole thing. They always say oh, well, I wanted to keep getting paid because I really need the money. It's okay, well then scabs also need the money. Scab being people who take the jobs even though they're not part of the union or whatever because they're not striking and they're not even part of the country that's striking about it.
When can each...
I'm autistic, I need money!
The new VA Jason taking over from John
more
and all that.
You.
And she may be trying to do this to, 1, make herself look better in her eyes and the eyes of her clique. 2, an opportunity to try and have some damage control overall. 3, also to try and bootlick for SAG further, as we see here. Now she's trying to pretend that she's in solidarity with them, despite the fact that she was basically being a scab this whole time. Now she's trying to make it seem like she wasn't really being a scab this whole time, just some of the time. Again, there are so many inconsistencies. And
that's why you should never cave and do this dumb virtue signaling shit, because when you start going into semantics, you can't make everyone happy. Just do what you feel is right, man. It's not that deep.
If Hoyoverse really did terminate her, this now looks like her attempting to have some sort of like last few jabs at Hoyoverse with these claims that they weren't paying her properly or whatever. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't Hoyoverse the people who stepped in to help her with payment issues with her old agency and then helped her switch over to a new agency and all that?
No,
so yeah, I'm skeptical of anything that she says, and I'm skeptical that things went down the way that she's saying they went down. But with that all said, let's get to the interview. By the way, let me mention really quick that there's a lot of fluff in this interview in my opinion, and I'm going to cut the fluff out and try to focus on the parts that you'll probably find most interesting. It'll also save your sanity and your brain and your ears a little bit, so you're welcome for that.
Elected work refusal will end when the strike does, even if Hoyo doesn't sign the agreement.
Actors are too afraid to say anything because the minute that we do, we're blacklisted. I know I'm blacklisted from the last studio I spoke about this about. I had sent word to Hoyo that said I refuse to come back until the game is union specifically. Remember, like a year or two ago, I had come forward stating that I had not gotten paid within 7 months, for 7 months. I'm getting more into debt because I'm not getting paid on time.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Paper.
That's illegal though. Like, I don't understand. Sue them then. You can sue them even if you're not union. What did you sign?
What? Again, like that's
and
something
why is this
Hoyo,
only coming out? And why is this only coming out now? I didn't hear about this until just now.
Resolve. And too afraid to say anything. Bro. Now she cares about that. She had no issue with her clique of VAs, including herself, harassing Jacob Takanashi for accepting work. So it's okay to make people fearful of repercussions when it's your side that's attacking people. But you want us to feel bad for you being afraid to speak out against Hoyoverse, who's supposed to be this evil company or something, just because they won't sign this really what seems to be one-sided contract that, by the way, will also negatively impact the non-union talent working on the game? And a bunch of other stuff we've talked about with issues with it over the last number of months. What the heck, man? What is this?
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Paper Bag Boy here. So today we are interviewing Paimon's VA, Karina Bedker. I would like to say this is an interview, not a debate, so I expect everyone in the comments to be as...
My bad, I thought it was Boker.
respectful and cordial as possible. So hello, Karina. Welcome to the channel. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. I've been reading a lot of books lately because I've been kind of sick, so I haven't been able to stream or anything, but I've been reading a lot of books, and I got into Fourth Wing. It took over my life.
I saw that on your Blue Sky. I saw that you posted about it. So.
Yeah. I got my other friend Kaylee Mills into it. She then became obsessed with it so much that she got her nails done. And
Kaylee Mills.
Why are we talking about this shit? What is going on?
Mills, yeah. Why am I not surprised? That's like a friend of hers and the first person she would bring up.
Kaylee Mills is strong.
Of course, man. Not surprising at all.
So how did you land the role of Paimon in Genshin Impact?
Okay, so it was like every other audition that you kind of do in the industry. I got an audition from my agent, and it was like, this is project, and I don't remember what the code name was at the time because they don't tell you what you're auditioning for.
Yeah, obviously.
Ever in video games because of NDAs.
We're all paying the price of what that agent did years later, but the pain is almost done, maybe.
And stuff, but it was for the character of Paimon. The female traveler.
Well, to be fair, Hoyo picked her. Yeah, it's not just the agent, man.
And also Amber.
Oh
and
gosh,
I auditioned for it, then turned it in,
she got like all three?
Forgot about
gosh.
it until like a month later. All of a sudden I get a call from my agent saying, hey, they need you to come in for a callback for Paimon. And I was like, great. I don't remember auditioning for that. So then I went back, re-listened to what I auditioned with. And then like on the very rare occasion, sometimes, you know, when you're in the recording, you're recording there for 4 hours. The sound engineer is probably sick of hearing me because I have that high-pitched squeaky noise he has to listen to.
At least she's self-aware.
4 hours? I've been here for 5 minutes.
She's self-aware, at least.
I'm already getting a headache. Yeah, I'm pouring one out for that sound engineer, man. I feel bad for that dude. He, like, Paper Bag Boy here too, man. 30 minutes with her and then like maybe more in the pre-call or whatever.
She does have a Paimon voice chat.
That's rough. Oh gosh, I might be here for another 20 minutes. Oh, just kill me now. This can't be happening. This can't be my life right now. Then again, I guess you're all here suffering with me, so we're together at least. But of course, I'll try and cut out the fluff where I can.
How do you get into our headspace for recording?
So my idea with Paimon is that like part of what helps any voice actor come up with a voice for a character is looking at the character itself. Half of her face is her eyeballs. So if you just imagine all of the air coming out of your eyeballs, all of a sudden you get this nasally voice all around.
Say what you want. At least she kind of has a sense of humor, even though she's dumb as fuck, man. After seeing her rant, like, I don't know. She's kind of...
And then, because Hoya wanted it really high, you add the high pitchness.
So with
oh my
obviously
God,
Genshin has a huge voice cast. Do you get to meet any of the other VAs? And if you do, what is the atmosphere like with
so
them?
fucking lame, dude.
I know most of them from previous stuff. For example, Kaylee Mills, Brianna Knickerbocker, Jenny Okabori, Allegra Clark, Zach Aguilar, Joe Zija, like all of those, a lot of those people,
I hate
Alejandro
Paimon
Saab,
so
we
much.
were all friends way before, because in the voice acting industry, it's a lot smaller than you think.
Yeah, it's a lot smaller because you don't let people in. It's a very common fact for everyone, including VAs themselves. They all talk about it. That's what I kind of hate. It's like, you want to be a VA? I don't know. Nepotism.
So usually...
Well, no, because there's a lot of plain favorites in the industry. And while there are a lot of VAs that are like trying to make it, like up and coming and hopeful new VAs, there's just so much nepotism going on, so to speak. And it's also the sort of thing where, like, if you break from the mold, from the hive mind or whatever, they will do what they can to, like, not get you work, to badmouth you behind the scenes to other VAs and casting individuals and whatnot. Such a gross thing, man.
So this is
true.
Obviously where we get to a tough question. You know the drama that's going on, and we can't avoid it. It's something that has to be discussed. So why was Jacob Takanashi getting the role as Kanish received so poorly by the other voice actors?
The reason why is because in the United States, obviously actors stick together and actors...
Okay, but he wasn't he in Japan?
I remember being a very young actor working in theater and being told, you never take the role of a striking actor. You know, you do not do that. That is not okay. It's not cool. But even further than that, in the United States, we have a strong history of sticking by our fellow workers.
Okay, but that still doesn't help. He's in Japan. He's working in Japan.
And not taking the jobs of those that are striking.
So hold on. Sticking by fellow workers, that in of itself makes it sound like you don't consider Jacob someone who's not a worker.
You're part of the family, you guys. Our family.
He's a worker too. So you're not actually sticking by your fellow workers. You're deciding which ones you want to stick by and which ones you want to throw under the bus and harass and try to get harassed as well by your clique of people. And let's also always remember, in this situation with Jacob and Kanish and all that, it was one guy, Jacob, against this entire clique of VAs, backed on some level by one of the most powerful unions around. Y'all teaming up on this one dude. So miss me with the whole, oh, we just want to protect the labor. No, you don't. No, you don't. You want to protect your own interests and the interest of those in your clique. Making it even worse is how clearly a number of the VAs harassing Jacob also thought when they were making public statements about...
It's like, I would liken it more so to VTubing. It's like, oh my god, we're all one big family because we're all VTubers. It's like, that's not how it works, you dum-dum. Even if there was a VTuber union, that still wouldn't be how it works. It's like, oh, the VTuber community, the VTuber union, we all have to stick together. Yeah. Imagine someone trying to unionize VTubers. Oh my god, the disaster. I can't even imagine.
And calling them out publicly on their social media accounts, they probably thought that they would also get the Genshin community and the Hoyo community to also rally against Jacob too.
Yeah.
So not only was it all these people backed by a powerful union going after him, they expected to also have a community going after him too.
Like, imagine if, for example, this is kind of likening to like what's been happening with the SAG-AFTRA thing and bullying Jacob Takanashi, which is an American living in Japan. Imagine if every VTuber suddenly started saying that they're going on strike on Twitch, but even if you really need the money and you need to survive and there's like no other form of income, you started streaming and then everybody started hating on you and telling you to blow yourself up and get a rope from Home Depot because you're still streaming and they don't know the circumstances of your life. Like, maybe you don't live in America. Maybe you aren't part of the union. That's essentially what happened to this guy. No sane VTuber would strike? Yeah, well, there's a lot of insane VTubers, so you'd probably get outnumbered.
Turned out that obviously backfired on them, but you guys clearly get the point. Let's continue on.
And you cannot like the way that I went about it. That is 100% valid. You're very welcome to have that opinion. But at the end of the day, it has been a strong history that when a worker takes the job of a striking actor, you call them out.
Yeah, okay.
Even if they're not part of the union or if they're living in a different country which isn't influenced by the, the strike or the contract that you're trying to get. Policing much? Yeah, absolutely. This is why I would hate to be in a union for a job.
What you're supposed to do.
Supposed to do.
Oh
again,
my gosh.
You don't have to like it.
It's so pathetic.
Supposed to do.
Yeah, the context of this, a bunch of VAs acting like they're morally virtuous, calling out one guy who accepted a role that wasn't filled for 6 months on a strike that apparently isn't official. It's a collective work refusal, non-official strike, but we still want to hold people to those standards and blah, 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 a lot of hypocrisy. By the way, we're also lying to all of the fans, trying to gaslight them that this is really just about AI protections and nothing else.
You don't have to like it. You don't have to like me for it. That's totally fine, but that's the reason why.
It was just hilarious that you guys tried calling out Jacob, wanted us all to bandwagon with you, and then when they get the most reasonable criticism in response to the terrible things that they tried doing and did, well, they turn around and play. And
also, to top it all off, this wasn't an official strike. It was just something that they all kind of agreed to. At least some of the bigger ones, the bigger voice actors.
A victim. They tried to get the Genshin subreddit banned. They try and smear all of the Genshin community as like terrible people. And all
I mean, there's a lot of not so great apples in the Genshin community, but that's a bit strong.
Sort of nonsense.
Every single person? I don't believe that.
Karina would technically be a scab too. But of course, she's going to try to act like she's on some moral high ground here. Of course. And so many of these other VAs tried excusing the double standards there. So don't keep lying to us about, we just want to stand with the workers. No, you don't. Y'all just want to protect certain people, and you'll gladly screw over the rest. All while you try and stand on some moral high ground while you do it and pat each other on the backs. It's so pathetic. Okay, skipped ahead like a good 10 minutes at least, I think. Oh my
god. That pause, dude!
And here's the part where she announces the whole thing about like apparently stepping down, or however she puts it. What we talked about yesterday, but for anyone who may have missed that part of the video, here is, or missed that video, excuse me, here's that part of the interview.
Not voicing Paimon at the moment, but is there any new roles that you have coming up?
Correct. After Jacob was replaced, I sent notice to
John. After John was replaced, you mean?
Hoyo saying that I would no longer voice Paimon until they became union, so they'll probably just replace me.
Oh, yeah, probably, because you fucking shit-talked them relentlessly on social media and then said it was AI. Chat, she said that there's like actual posts of her on Blue Sky, I think it was, or on Twitter, I forget which one. She actually tried to say that rant where she said YouTubers aren't allowed to talk about this thing because they're not voice actors or whatever. She said it was AI. It wasn't real, that she didn't do that. Even though there's multiple TikToks of her crashing out on the toilet and saying that she wants to throw up as well. That was a really good one, too. We watched that.
But moving on, I do have other roles in the mix right now. A lot of them are under NDA, but something that actually came out recently that I'm actually really proud of.
For anyone who didn't see yesterday's video, I already commented on all that stuff. That's why I didn't have too much to say. Like, I celebrated last night. You know, I celebrated this news last night. I also talked about my skepticism of it. Similar to the stuff I mentioned at the beginning of this video, though, at least. But, like, you know, no point in repeating all that once again now here, too. Okay, here's one of the, like, extremely rare actual based Karina moments.
Give me a free version of the game, which does not happen.
It's after this part. It's the next question coming up in a few seconds.
Ever. So this was like the second time ever of me getting anything from anything that I've worked on, and it was really cool.
Yeah. But you obviously have like a direction that you want your career to go, right? So if you could have any role at all, like literally just any dream role.
Mothra. Yeah.
Mothra, like
Mothra, like Godzilla.
Mothra. Dude, Mothra is freaking awesome. So, like, I'm not saying she'd be a good Mothra, but I actually, like...
Mothra from Godzilla?
That she likes Mothra and would want to voice Mothra, though. Here's another extremely rare, actual based Karina moment.
I'm confused.
My favorite anime is Future Diary. Love that one.
Oh my goodness, it's so
actually a good pick.
Okay, so this is where we get to one that all of the fans want to know. It's what everybody's here for. Do you believe the collective work refusal will end when the strike does, even if Hoyo doesn't sign the agreement?
Well, first of all, I'd like to elaborate on the question. I don't think they're doing that though, but like.
No, they won't.
Is the question?
They are going to replace them with AI. Mark my words.
Essentially, like.
They're
the strike
already
referring
scrambling.
to the official SAG-AFTRA video game strike, and then saying that the collective work refusal, that being the Genshin or the Hoyoverse VA thing they got going on. He's asking like if the unofficial collective work refusal will end when the official SAG-AFTRA strike does. I think that's the question, right? I would have asked for like clarification on that, but I guess we're just getting right into the answer.
I can't speak for the rest of my castmates when it comes to this, so I'll only speak on my own behalf on this. As I said earlier, when Jacob got replaced,
oh, she did it again. She did it again. This was so funny. I don't want to repeat the joke I said yesterday, but I suppose I will once again for anyone who may have missed it.
She not even know.
It's just hilarious.
She doesn't even know who she canceled, man.
And all these other people harassed Jacob over replacing John. Try to get other people to harass him too, etc., etc.
Oh my god,
but then on multiple occasions now, she hasn't even got John's name right. You care so much, and you can't even get the story straight. And yeah, to be fair, the names both have like, you know, some similarities with the J and all that, but it's just funny.
I think she just doesn't care.
As his character, Kanichi, in Genshin, I had sent word to Hoyo that said, I refuse to come back until the game is union specifically. And the reason why I said union specifically, because I know some other actors, they just want an AI, like, protection signed. That's all they want, and they're willing to come back into work. For me personally, I will not.
I don't like allegedly, but that a lot of you guys who want more than that said the same thing. So I don't even know. Like, I don't even know if that's true.
It's like I said. It's like politicians billing massive bills, and they're just a bunch of crap. And then it's like layered on top. Oh, we want AI protection. That's not the only thing you want, buddy.
We already know a lot of people who said that wanted a lot more.
Union, and the reason why is because we are still having issues with getting paid within the 30 days as stated on our...
Who's we, though? It always seems to be...
I've never heard of this before. Suddenly we're getting payment issues?
There was like one other example way back of like one other person who I think had an issue, but like by and large, it seems like the only person who's had an issue about this stuff, at least talking about it, is Karina. So again, like, I'm skeptical of what she's saying here. It seems like it's specifically an issue with her, and again, something Hoyoverse literally, according to my understanding of the situation, had helped her resolve in the past, and she seems so ungrateful for that. She like does
Royal we. I bet you I'd probably find out she probably fucked up the payment or something, or she didn't give the correct information at this point. Something doesn't add up here.
Doesn't acknowledge that at all, and if anything, just tries to make Hoyoverse look bad
considering all the
afterwards
lying.
Still too.
Our contract. If we still, and mind you, remember, I, like, a year or two ago, I had come forward stating that I had not gotten paid within 7 months, like, for 7 months. This most recent time...
Which wasn't Hoyo's fault, though, to my understanding, right? It was the agency that Hoyo then mediated and helped resolve.
I've been consistently not getting paid on a 30-day basis, but, for this one, it took 5 months for me to get paid. Like,
how did you let it get to 5 months, man?
For this one, it took 5 months for me to get paid, finally.
Yeah, that's a long time.
It's a very long time.
How?
And I work paycheck to paycheck. And at this point...
Wait, you are one of the biggest voice actors in Genshin. Like, you are one of the main characters that consistently gets money, patch after patch, and somehow you live paycheck to paycheck. This is one of those, like, I have a budget of like $6,000 a month, and then it's like I spent $4,000 on candles. What do I, how do I re-budget kind of things? And then it's like the candles are non-negotiable. How does this happen? Did they pay you that badly? I kind of don't believe that.
I'm getting more into debt because I'm not getting paid on time.
Yeah.
And if I still have to ask my parents to help me pay for my rent, I might as well actually take a stand here and say, well, I have to do that anyway. So knowing that my contract is not being obligated the way it should be currently in the state that it's in, it tells me that even if an AI protection were to be signed, unless there is actual enforceable protections, I cannot trust that it will actually do anything. And I look, you can have your feelings about what you feel about SAG, but at the end of the day, voice actors do not make enough money to pay for lawyers to be able to actually enforce what's in our contract.
Then why are you in a union? What? How? You pay money to be in a union, and they can't even help you to sue a company that doesn't pay you? I don't know, man. Something doesn't add up. I just feel like there's just information that's being omitted.
Which is why these studios don't pay us on time, because they know this.
I could definitely see that as like them.
Well, look.
I don't know, man.
I don't know how much of her story is true or not. It's hard to comment on any of that stuff.
I don't know.
I'm just skeptical of anything that she says to begin with. The only thing that I will agree on is, yeah, it's difficult to sue a company that has a lot more resources than you do. It's not impossible, but of course it's an uphill battle, usually.
Yeah, but at least I'd want them to win. But that's not all
you guys try to do. You also try to monopolize the industry, so to speak, harass people who don't agree with your agenda, like spread lies, try to manipulate people, try to gaslight people into supporting causes that you're not fully disclosing what's really going on about, harass people who are not a part of the union, try to stop them from getting work, etc., etc. A whole bunch of shady, corrupt stuff. So it all goes back to something that we've all acknowledged before, which is oftentimes people won't side with the company. But you guys in your union have come off so unlikable and corrupt that people
would have been more than happy. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like if she started off with like, hey, Hoyoverse hasn't paid me for 5 months, I have to live paycheck to paycheck, instead of being an unlikable dickhead and screaming it and implying that people like Hirohe and Rev and Asmon who talked about this are assholes for talking about things that they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, I feel like they'd probably be more inclined to give you some sympathy points.
Are actually saying that Hoyoverse in this situation, contextualized, looks like the lesser corrupt thing. That the union SAG-AFTRA looks even worse, and you guys who bootlick for them.
Main issue, that would be, if I was voice acting, that would be my number one issue, is getting paid on time, considering the fact that I worked in the acting industry and actually experienced it firsthand. Whenever someone blows you off again and again and again, and you don't get paid for months, it's ridiculous.
And the fact that this has already been addressed once and it still has not been fixed, and it's 2 years since then, or 1 year, but this is a consistent problem within our industry, is that studios regularly do not pay their non-union work on time.
Yeah.
Regularly. And actors are too afraid to say anything, because the minute that we do, we're blacklisted.
Then fucking do that from the get-go. I didn't know that this was a problem. You are all fighting for AI protection, but you're not even fucking getting paid at the right time. How? And repeatedly, apparently.
I know I'm blacklisted from the last studio I spoke about this about. I know that.
That's definitely something that my viewers know about, because it's something that I bring up often, is the fact that in the voice acting space, blacklisting happens way more than anybody even wants to admit that it does.
And not just in this alleged context either, which seems pretty likely, I suppose. Like, they're in the badmouth a studio. They'll probably blacklist you. Sure, I can believe that. It's pretty.
I'm genuinely surprised Hoyoverse didn't just fire her. They kind of just let her go. She said, "I'm gonna stop working." They're like, "Okay." I thought they would have fucking fired her earlier, like a month ago or two, when she started just mouthing off and making their company look bad by association.
It actually goes and makes Hoyoverse look even better, though, because she's openly disparaged Hoyoverse, and a lot of these VAs have, for months on end.
Yeah.
And yet, Hoyoverse still keeps them on roster. Hoyoverse hasn't fired them or blacklisted them or anything, it seems. Still wants them to work. So their own arguments are like self-defeating.
Whether it's coming from directors, casting directors, things like that.
For sure. And
again, let me mention, like, these people in their clique will gladly blacklist others that they want, so it's hard to feel bad for them.
Of course.
Potentially getting blacklisted when they're doing the same stuff to others.
Why most actors will not say anything.
Like, Shara Kirby literally bragged about it, according to my recollection, on Blue Sky. It was like bragging about how Jacob is going to get blacklisted for accepting the role of Kanish.
And telling them to go and harass them, basically. Like, how is this okay? These people unironically memory hole everything that they do and then run to Blue Sky when people call it out. It's so disgusting.
It's why we stay silent while we're suffering and just trying to get paid.
Suffering!
And again, voice actors, most voice actors, like myself, are paycheck to paycheck.
I'm starting to think voice acting kind of just isn't a great career choice, huh? Or everyone's bad with their money, so it's a side job? Yeah! Starting to think.
Stamps, or they have 4 to 6 other jobs that they're working on besides just voice acting because it does not pay the bills. And so...
I mean, that's just how contract work can be,
well,
though.
they also probably all live in, like, really expensive areas as well.
This is not mutually exclusive to voice acting. If you're in a contract position and you're not making enough money, yeah, you're going to need to have other jobs.
How can Paimon be broke with how many lines she gets? That's exactly what I was freaking saying. She's in every patch, like a consistent character. How are you broke? Even if you live in California, I feel like it's kind of a skill issue at this point.
Some people would rather have like a stable 9-to-5 office job if they can get that or whatever, but other people want contract work. There's just like a variety of ways you can go about trying to make a living, and this sort of situation is not exclusive to VAs.
They're working on besides just voice acting because it does not pay the bills. And so
I mean, I'll give you an example really quick in the restaurant too. We had a lot of like people in restaurant work here in LA who are trying to become actors, but obviously like they're not getting enough roles. Like your average actor is probably not making enough money through acting to solely do that, and a lot of them will work other jobs. Restaurants a very popular one because
streamers are kind of like that too. Like I didn't quit my like real job until probably like a year and a half in. Yeah,
you can often get your shifts covered by other employees, so if they had an audition they would request that day off.
It's a side job.
Like, contact some of the other employees and be like, hey, I got this audition, can you like cover for me? And it was like a very common thing because again, in this sort of line of work, acting, VA work, other sort of contract work, it's like sporadic. And it also reminds me of like this other stuff I saw on Blue Sky where some VAs were complaining about VAs wanting the strike to be over, saying like, oh, we're all giving up so much for the strike and you don't see us complaining. We're better than the ones complaining and wanting the strike to end. Those privileged people. And then you look at what those VAs like credits are, and they've worked like twice in the last 5 years. There's like minimal to no work there at all. They're really not giving up much of anything, but they're acting like they're making some great sacrifice. And look, if you're a VA and you've worked literally 2 jobs in the last 5 years and you're not looking for other work, and then you're gonna try and like gaslight us into feeling bad for you, like, oh, I'm not making enough as a VA. I mean,
everybody else in the world has a hard time. Like I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but it's like everybody in the world, like some people have heavy medical bills. It's not an excuse. People make do. They have to try. Oh no, I work a bit and like I have a job. I don't have to work at Amazon at a factory. It's like, yeah, well, some people work at Amazon. They work in restaurants. They work in fast food. Like it blows.
Come on, man. Like, take some accountability.
It's not relatable.
Doing all of that and then on top not getting paid in a timely manner. This is very simple stuff that should be easy to do.
I will agree, though, that like if in the contract they're supposed to get paid at a certain time, they should be getting paid on that time or in that time period. That's only right.
Well, that's what I'm saying, too. Like, if you're in a union, why do you not have the help to put pressure on Hoyo to do their fucking job, like under the contract?
And at the end of the day, technically, legally, it is the studio's obligation to pay us on time. But Hoyo is the one that needs to sign the SAG contract, so that way we actually have enforceable protections when it comes to this.
Okay, yeah.
So,
well, yeah, like I said, I do think they should be paid on time per the terms of the agreement that both parties signed. That's only the right thing to do. I do find it odd that Karina's
Big
like consistently the only person talking about this. Her
surprise.
excuse is like people are scared too, but she's been caught lying in the past, so I'm skeptical about all that stuff.
Yeah.
But of course, this thing with the union interim agreement they want signed, we all know there's a lot more to it than that, and how people who are not part of the union don't want to be part of the union would therefore then potentially be fired and lose their roles or beg for a Taft-Hartley, and that might not go well for them. And then they may get like one Taft-Hartley and then be required to join the union they don't want to be a part of anyway. So there's a whole mess with all this stuff.
For myself, I will not come back until it is union, because as of right now, I cannot trust that I will get paid on time unless a union is actually there, a union representative that can call them and say, hey, you didn't pay your actor.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. That definitely.
If they framed that instead of the AI protection, like AI protection is so iffy to some people because some people just want to consume content. They don't give a fuck if you were protected from your AI job. Like they just want to consume slop.
Yeah, I feel like with a lot of people,
I think they'd win people over with that.
At least your intentions when being involved, and
I mean, not really. It's kind of just like doubling down on stuff she already posted. It's just interesting to hear her say this, I suppose. Like actually herself, as opposed to just like it being on a post.
I really think a lot of people could be empathetic to that situation, because I know that I definitely can, with not being paid and also being a contractor myself, IRL. It's something you seriously have to deal with. And if you,
oh yeah, I'll say it for the third time now. Like, she should be getting paid as the agreement says. I can obviously agree with that.
You don't have anybody,
and like anyone not getting paid when they're supposed to be getting paid in an agreement that was signed by the parties involved is being taken advantage of, and that sucks.
If you don't have anybody protecting you, then you have to pay the upfront cost to get yourself protected, essentially, to make sure that you get paid as a person. But it was really great having you on. I hope you come back. Where can fans find you at? And if you still have your acting course,
she's not gonna come back, man. I feel like Hoyo's very likely done, man. Take a drink every time she says union. Good luck. I would probably be dead.
I mean, I would love for you to plug it, because
$5
a lot of my viewers actually took your acting course and they actually had good things to say about it. So it was.
I love teaching acting. I'm on a little bit of a hiatus at the moment, but I promise my classes will come back at the end of the year. You can find it at www..
Wait, so she has a side hustle?
KarinaBetker.com. And if you, like, again, the reason why I'm on a hiatus is because I've been so sick, it's hard to get out of bed most days. And so I promise they'll come back. I just want to be at a place where I'm not worried about if I have to end up in the hospital that day or not, so that people actually get the acting class they pay for.
Oh yeah, look, I don't like the stuff that she's done to people, but I don't wish her any ill will. Hopefully she'll get better. But hold on a second. I just listened to that back, like in post-production here, like editing this video. Was she just making the implication that some people are paying for classes that they're not getting after all that discussion about the contract stuff?
I mean, to be fair, Patreon people do that all the time. They're like, guys, I'm going on hiatus, and people keep paying them for money that they're just giving to them, or they forget.
She really?
And then people get pissed.
Did she really just imply that? Please tell me I heard that wrong.
But knowing with how I've been lately, because I've been so sick, I've been just reading a lot of romance novels. So
I was just waiting for her to like.
Oh my god, she's a fujoshi. It's over.
Accidentally let it slip and be like, but because of how it has been lately, I'm on my alt account Pomeranian of Doom most of the time. Like, could you imagine, dude? I know it's like a meme at this point. That's so funny though, still, man.
I'm probably just going to be talking about a lot of that. I just finished Fourth Wing, as I said earlier.
Yeah.
I'm on A Court of Thorns and Roses.
All right. I'm cutting it here. There's like one more minute of this, but I think, that's
okay.
that. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know what you think about the interview, and credits to Paper Bag Boy for getting this interview. Once again, I'll also mention the full thing will be linked in the description. I definitely cut out, I think, like half of this. So
there's more to this?
Check out that link and listen to it for yourself. Maybe take a Tylenol first, just like word of caution. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed my coverage. See you in the comments. Dude. Let me know what you think about this stuff. And yeah, see you in the next one too. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Guys, go check him out, dude. I can't believe this guy watched the whole interview. Thank God, man. I don't know if I would have been able to watch this whole thing, man. I do think that considering how many times she's lied and how many times she's flipped the script or tried to, like, you know, make it seem like she's the victim, I don't know, chat. I really don't. People are so weird. Just play the sympathy card, or play the card where it's like, I don't know, where it's more relatable instead of attacking your own fan base. I don't get it.